Alright, so the Pokemon Detective Pikachu trailer has been out for a few days now, and I thought it would be a fun idea to have a look at it together and see what kind of references or details we can scoop up from the trailer. Now, I'm no Pokemon expert, so feel free to add or correct anything in the comments. I'm usually very active in the comments, so you'll be sure to get a response, and maybe you can add or correct me on anything that I'm saying in this trailer. So let's have a look.
Welcome to Rhyme City, a celebration of the harmony between humans and Pokémon.
Very cool first scene here, or first two scenes basically. We get introduced to Rhyme City. I think most people don't know Rhyme City when they saw this trailer. For those of you who don't know, Rhyme City is basically introduced in the 3DS game of Detective Pikachu, where, as you might know, Tim Goodman, which is the main character here in this movie, is also looking for his father. So I believe that the plot lines could be quite the same. So it could be very close together with the game. But that's where Rhyme City is from. So it's a fairly new location that we don't know a lot about. So that's very cool. As you can see, other references that you might get are the Pokemon food reference. For instance, the berry universe on the right side and the Pokepuffs on the left. I believe Pokepuffs were introduced in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, so you know, all kinds of generations of Pokemon are coming together in this movie. And just like the narrator says, it's a very harmonious world. And you can see that because the Pokemon are walking around freely. They're not walking with a trainer. For instance, the Charmander and the Dodrio are very clearly, they're just doing its own thing. I think there's even the Dodrio going to the subway station, so I think they're quite free or autonomous, so to say. So that's nice to see. The narrator also says it that, you know, the festival represents the harmony. So I think that's very good. I think very cool. I think that's a nod to the classic introduction as well in the animation movies, where the narrator talks about the harmony that Pokemon and humans live in and that they work together. So I think that's a very cool first scene that they throw in this trailer here. Another thing that I noticed were the Pokemon flying overhead. That's also pretty cool. I can recognize most of the shapes of the Pokemon. I believe it's a Pidgeot and a Pharaoh, but there's one that I don't really know, which is the one over here. It might be one of the newer generations, but I can't really identify it. I thought at first it was a Vileplume, but that doesn't make any sense because Vileplume can't fly, but it looks like it. I think it's one of the X and Y Pokemon, but I'm not sure which one it is. So if you guys can help me out with that one, let me know. So the other scene we get to see is this one where a certain woman is stepping out of a very small blue car. I've seen some speculations already on the internet that it's Misty, and I think that's a very good guess. I think we can all kind of agree that this has to be Misty because of the Psyduck next to her, you know, one of the signature Pokemons of Misty. In the background, they're preparing the Pokemon Festival, like the narrator said, so that's probably why the people are dressed up like Gengar and Squirtle, and there's also someone dressed as Bulbasaur coming from the background, so I think that's why these people are dressed like Pokemon. Except for Misty. Misty is not really wearing anything that really represents the Misty that we know, except for the fact that she has a Psyduck, and I think the fact that she is driving a blue car is also kind of a hint to the direction that it is Misty. And it's not really a nice car, you know, so I don't think Misty is too happy. Don't think she's in a great position. Also, a very nice detail is the Spoink car statue, I think, on the dashboard of Misty's car, so I think that's really funny. Other than that, yeah, I think we can kind of agree that this has to be Misty with her Psyduck. So that's cool to see Misty in this movie.
Your dad was a legend in this precinct. If you were anything like your dad...
I'm not.
I remember. You wanted to be a Pokemon trainer when you were young.
Yeah, that didn't really work out.
We get a bit of story development already in this trailer. It seems like Tim is working at a call center or something. So it looks like at the, if you look at the scene, he has a train ticket to go to Rhyme City. So I guess he isn't in Rhyme City just yet at the beginning of the movie, and he has a ticket to go there. He's in a town called Town. I'm not really sure if that's just a joke, if that's a real town. Maybe I'm really stupid. I first thought it would say Lavender Town, but that wouldn't make any sense either. So I guess he lives in a town called Town. And he has a ticket to go to Rhyme City, and I have a feeling that he's going to use that. But a far more interesting thing is when you go into his room. I'm not sure if it's his current room or his old room, because it seems more like he returns to his old room. But in his room, you can see some very interesting posters. You see some Pokemon battles going on. You see Championship Ruling Arena, but a very interesting thing, I think, is it says Articuno versus Steelix. Now, I am not too sure about this universe, but I don't think a legendary Pokemon would be in like a Fight Club versus a Steelix. So maybe it's just names they gave people, or maybe there really is an Articuno versus Steelix, and I would think that's freaking awesome. So I don't know why we're seeing a Charizard later in this trailer. They should have shown Articuno versus Steelix if that is a real thing, because I think if they don't show that, that's going to be a shame. A different detail I see in here is that he has some trophies on the right bottom side. So I guess he has won something, and I'm guessing it's some rewards for trainers or being a trainer. So I think those are pretty cool details that we can already see in his room. They also do some nice foreshadowing here with the Pikachu above his bed, so I think that's pretty cool. And it's also just a scene before we actually get to see Pikachu, so I think that's a pretty cool detail as well. A very cool detail that I put in here is his birthday card, which is his 21st birthday. And when this movie will come out, which is apparently next summer, Pokemon will be 21 years old. So I think that's a very cool detail that they put in, that this birthday card is exactly the age of Pokemon next year. So that's very cool.
Someone there? Whoever you are, I know how to use this.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
I know you can't understand me, but put down the stapler or I will electrocute you.
Did you just talk?
Whoa. Did you just understand me?
Oh my God, you can understand me.
Stop.
I've been so lonely.
They try to talk to me all the time. All they hear is Pika Pika.
You can hear him, right?
Pika Pika! Yeah, Pika Pika Pika, he's adorable.
You're adorable. They can't understand me, kid.
Can no one else hear him? I don't need a Pokemon, period.
Then what about a world-class detective? Because if you want to find your pops, I'm your best bet. We're gonna do this, you and me.
Alright, so I really don't have much to add here except for Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu. How freaking awesome is that? Oh man, Nintendo and Pokemon, you couldn't have made me a happier man than putting Ryan Reynolds as the voice actor. I've heard rumors that this was going to happen, that Ryan Reynolds would voice Detective Pikachu, and I was confused because I first thought it would be the video game, but it's in the movie, and I'm so happy. The only thing I've heard people complain about is that Pikachu would be too hairy, and I think that's absolutely ridiculous in my opinion, because, you know, Pikachu is a mouse Pokemon, so it's not gonna look like the animation where it just looks like he's from rubber, so it would make total sense that he has some hair, you know, he's a mouse, so I think I think those complaints are not justified. So they also show based on a worldwide phenomenon. I'm guessing they refer to Pokemon Go with this on the mobile. I think that's what they're referring to. And if I'm wrong about that, please let me know in the comments, because I am quite curious if it's not Pokemon Go.
There's magic that brought us together, and that magic is called hope.
So I don't want to spoil anything, but in this scene it kind of looks like either Pikachu is like really hurt, or he's asleep, or he's dead. So I really hope that we don't get another Mewtwo Strikes Back moment where one of the main protagonists is actually like dead or almost dead. So I hope Pikachu is just sleeping in this scene. We get to see quite some Pokemon already in these few seconds in the trailer. The first one we see is a Jigglypuff who is in a bar with his green or her green microphone, and the Jigglypuff seems to have sang someone to sleep, so that's pretty cool. The internet has been going crazy about this Jigglypuff, so I think it's quite funny to see him or her in the trailer. The other Pokemon we see is the Charizard, who seems to be a cage fighter Pokemon Charizard. He looks kinda roughed up, and his color is like a little bit different than you would think of a Charizard. He's like more darker, more bruised, and I think this is gonna be the typical Pokemon or character that's gonna be a bad character in the movie, but will eventually help the protagonist like further their goals. So I hope that's gonna be correct. But I think the Charizard looks cool overall, even though it looks different than you might expect. But I think that's because it's a cage fighter Charizard, so that's probably the reason. And the other Pokemon we see after the Charizard spits his fire like a badass, is the Greninja. And the Greninja are definitely the bad guys. You can see them, they're doing some moves, they're attacking. I think they're attacking the protagonists, so probably Tim and Pikachu, and maybe Misty as well. And I think the Greninja are awesome, you know, they are dark type, so it makes sense that they are the bad guys or the bad Pokemon. I'm not trying to be type racist or Pokemon type racist or anything, but it just seems like they are the bad guys, and I think they are really cool. I think those might be the coolest Pokemon you could have as bad guy Pokemon, so I'm really happy with that. The last scene I think that's really cool to see is that Tim and Misty and Pikachu are, I think, in quite some trouble because the earth is literally folding, so it's a little bit like an Inception thing going on. So it seems like the earth is literally folding down on them. I don't really know what I should make of this scene, but it looks quite bad. If this is how the move Earthquake is, then I think trainers should second guess if they want to use it, because it looks devastating. But very cool though. I'm really curious to find out what that actually is and how that actually happens, because it looks devastating.
Listen up. We got ways to make you talk. Or mime.
Yeah.
So tell us what we want to know. Pipe. Yes. Okay. I can. Shoving. Pushing. My problem is that I push people away and then hate them for leaving.
He's saying you can shove it.
What? I can shove it? Okay, that's it. No, we're switching roles. I'm bad cop. You're good cop.
No, we're not cops. Oh!
In my head, I saw that differently.
Mr. Mime using what I think is barrier here. The barrier attack that I think is one of Mr. Mime's signature move is just pure gold. And the fact that Pikachu jumps right into it, I think that's amazing. I love that detail that they already put in there with the Mr. Mime. So we get a few last action shots in the end of this trailer, and one of them is Pikachu running away from Greninja in what seems to be a hospital or maybe some backstage area I'm not really sure, but the Greninja are definitely chasing him, so that kind of confirms the Greninja are bad guy stories here. So unless Pikachu has done something very wrong to the Greninja, I think the Greninja are indeed bad guys. Also, the fact that the Greninja are literally using Water Shuriken is so freaking cool for a bad guy Pokemon to actually throw Water Shurikens instead of, you know, the more known Pokemon attacks, because that's like Greninja's signature move, and that seems very badass to have as a move. So the fact that they use the Water Shuriken is so freaking cool in my opinion. So another shot we see is Tim sliding down some kind of tube. I have to say I am not really sure what kind of tube this is, because it seems to have openings in between them, so maybe it's just something random, or maybe it's something I'm not recognizing from the Pokemon universe or Pokemon games or Pokemon movies. So if anyone in the comments know, please let me know, and otherwise Tim is sliding down a pipe, guys, so I guess we can look forward to that in the movie. But man, is he making some great faces while he's sliding down. Just, it's pretty funny already looking at these shots. The next action shot we see is Misty, Psyduck, and Pikachu being chased by what seems to be the Greninja, because I think they're being shot at by Water Shurikens. And it looks like Psyduck is unleashing his psychic energy because he is not very comfortable. So the shot goes into his mouth, and then we go to a big explosion or a big shockwave. It looks like it comes from Psyduck, but we can't really be sure that it is Psyduck because you don't see him in the shockwave shot. But you can reasonably assume that it's Psyduck, but they could be tricking us with these shots that it is Psyduck. And I think it would be even cooler if there is going to be some surprise to the movie that it actually isn't Psyduck and it is some other Pokemon or effect or cause that is making the shockwave. But, you know, Psyduck is like 80 to 90% probably the cause. And the last action shot we see is Pikachu falling down and the Charizard swooping in to put his fangs in Pikachu. A very cool and very nice looking action shot, especially the fangs of the Charizard look very dangerous. And I guess it's a bit of a cliffhanger to see how Pikachu gets out of this, because we're kind of left in the dark about that. Maybe Articuno can swing in if he makes an appearance, or Steelix, but I'm very curious to see how Pikachu gets out of this. But I guess we'll have to see for maybe a different trailer or till the movie comes out. That was it, guys. That was the trailer. Let me know in the comments if I said anything wrong or I forgot anything crucial that you might have seen in the trailer. Let me know and I'll be sure to respond and have an interest, because I'm curious if I missed anything in this trailer. Alright, now I'm not one for long outros, so I'm gonna sign off, and I hope everyone has a good day, and thanks for watching.